So here we are in a dairy which is pretty well known, and this is a KHAL BACCHA. This is a baby calf who has been stuffed after she's been killed by starving to death. And then this KHAL BACCHA is kept near the mother when it's time to milk, so that she starts releasing milk thinking it's her baby. This is one of the most cruel practices in the dairy industry. First, of starving the baby to death, and then using the dead calf as a lure to release milk.
ये बच्चा जब मर जाता है ना, तो उसका काट के गोश्त भी सब निकाल डालते हैं और उसमें भुस्सा भर के चमड़े में रखते हैं सब।
अच्छा, ये क्यों रखते हो?
वो बच्चे की भैंस के लिए।
क्यों? लेकिन भैंस के लिए क्यों? निचोड़ने देवे मतलब
बच्चा दूध निकालने देवे।
दूध निकालने देंगे, नहीं तो नहीं देगी।
इसलिए निकालना पड़ता है।
अच्छा, और अगर वो मर जाता है तो उसका दूध भी बंद हो जाता है?
दूध कम हो जाता है ना, कम हो जाता
है।
बच्चा नहीं रहेगा तो कम हो जाता है।
अच्छा,
तो वो क्या समझती है कि मेरा बच्चा ऐसा है,
दूध छोड़ती है। और ये कितने महीने के लिए आप इस्तेमाल करते हो इसको?
इसको
नहीं, ये बच्चे को
4-5 महीने के लिए।
4-5 महीने के लिए। अभी ये कितना उम्र का है?
ये बच्चा रहेगा है 15-20 दिन का है।
15-20 दिन?
2 दिन का बच्चा है।
ये 2 दिन का बच्चा है। अच्छा, ये नर था या मादा? नर था। अच्छा, ये ज्यादा होता है ऐसे मरता है?
हाँ, ऐसा कभी-कभी मरते नहीं तो ये भैंस के बच्चे है नहीं तो क्या
ये नर है या मद्दा है?
देखना पड़ेगा।
मद्दा है।
मद्दा नहीं होगा। मद्दा है।
मद्दा है। मद्दा है ना? Thank you.
Darshana, what did the man tell you about the KHAL BACCHA?
So what he said was that the male calf had died when it was 2 days old, when he was 2 days old, and they had removed all the insides, and then they stuffed sawdust in him and have made him into a little baby. And this is necessary, they said, because if they don't keep the baby, the mother stops producing milk. And he also said that the mother will not allow them to touch her udder if there is no baby. So this is like a way of fooling the mother into believing that her child is still there. Yeah, and this is something they said so disconnectedly. They had no feelings at all, and they said like this happens very often. When I asked him if it was a male or a female, they said it was a male baby. And when I asked, he said that this happens pretty often, and I said, is it only male babies that die? So he was a little foxed, and then he said, no, not all babies. So I asked if the other baby was a male or female, and then he said that it was a female which was alive. So it's obviously only the male babies that are starved to death like this, and then just 2 or 3 days old and they're starved to death. So you can see these babies are all tied away from their mothers. One of them is literally crying. There are tears coming out of her eyes. And they are so sickly, so sickly. It is sad that they don't get mother's milk. All babies need to bond with their mothers and drink mother's milk every 2 or 3 hours. It doesn't matter what species they are from. They have to drink mother's milk. Mother's milk is nutrition for a newborn baby to grow fast in a very short period of time. But what we do for our cup of tea and coffee is to tie the babies away, deny them their birthright, and steal the milk for our enjoyment. And we have been born into a society that teaches us that this violence is normal and natural and necessary. Is it necessary for us to drink the milk, or is it necessary for a baby to have mother's milk? This is a question we all need to answer and look into our hearts and make the change that we really should be. If we are compassionate, we will not be part of this violence. If we think that this is unjust, it is unjust, we will not be a part of it. Let us choose the side of justice and compassion and be fair to animals and give them their right. Just because we can't hear their cries and just because we have the power to oppress them, this is what we do to them.
He is really scared. He probably didn't have any love and any attention and petting in his life, not from his mother and not from humans at all. Leave him alone. He's too scared.
So you can see that the baby is suckling on a part of her mother's skin. Her leg has been tied with a very short rope so that she will not be able to reach the udder. And the udders are now swollen because the mother has been forced to accumulate milk for 12 hours. When actually in nature, the baby would empty her udder every 2 or 3 hours. Like any other baby, they need mother's milk every 2 or 3 hours. We are depriving babies of their birthright to their mother's milk. Can you see how hard the baby is trying to reach her mother's udder, but no way, she can't get milk.